Hi, happy weekend. It's another beautiful Saturday, a very sunny one. It's been raining all these days, and it's just another beautiful sunny Saturday. So I'm here telling you happy weekend and welcome to the program Inside Motherhood here on Spectrum Television. My name is Rachel David White. I think I'm going to be adding mommy to my name, so I'll say my name is Mommy Rachel David White. All right, so this is a program that talks about everything you need to know as a mother, even as a father, as an intending mother, as an intending father, as someone who takes care of children. Of course, you need to draw closer to your TV screen and listen and learn about everything that this program talks about. So today on the program, we are going to be addressing mothers. Yes, not just mothers, fathers as well. Yeah, forget about the name Inside Motherhood. Yeah, we're telling you what happens inside motherhood. So you need to know as a father, you need to know as a partner, intending parent or intending couple, as long as you have in mind to settle down one day, have a wife, or become a mother, then of course you need to watch this program. It has a lot of content and a lot of information that you need to know. So today we are going to be talking to those mothers who just had their babies. Yes, we are going to talk about self-care after childbirth. But before then, I'll just tell you a few things about pregnancy, and then we'll wound down to childbirth and how to take care of yourself after putting to birth. Yes, someone is actually looking at me right now and it's like, what do I need to do after childbirth? I'm still me. Yes, you're still you. But so many times you see a woman who has just one child and is looking like she's got 4 children already, and you see one that has over 5 children and she's looking like she's got just one or none. Well, I think it also has a lot to do with taking care of yourself after childbirth. A whole lot of things. Your body is not like it was when you never even got pregnant. So you have lots and lots of things to know about your body and things to do as well. So today, in the course of this program, we'll be having a medical doctor talk to us. So we'll go on a short break. When we come right back, our guest will be ready to talk to us. So stay tuned. Catch you right back. Yes, welcome right back. I told you we'll be going on a short break. That was quite short. So welcome back. We have lots of things to talk about today. So we don't need to go on long breaks. Yes, I told you that we'll be talking about self-care after childbirth. So in case you're just joining us, then this is the program Inside Motherhood. And the phone lines will be open already. And of course, you can call us, ask questions, send text messages, and of course, you can also send us WhatsApp messages. Even if you can't send us today and then it comes in late, we will address it on our next session as we start the program. But for today, we are going to tell you what you need to know about yourself and of course, what you need to do in order to become I would say gain back yourself, yes, as a woman after childbirth. Yeah, you have a lot of jobs to do, but the medical doctor will tell us more. So in the house today, we have a senior resident doctor, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, University of Uyo Teaching Hospital. Welcome, Dr. Ekomobon Udo.
Thank you very much for having me, Rachel.
Yes, so you're looking all blue and looking amazing. Welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so it's good to have you back again. Before we go into, talking about self-care after childbirth, that's going to be our angle, we are going to look at today. What happens? Let's start from pregnancy. What really happens? Because when we say taking care of yourself, there must have been something,
Yes.
that went wrong before you want to put it right back again. So
Okay.
what are those things that happens to a woman's body when she's pregnant? Maybe from the first trimester where we see the tummy come out a little, the second it comes out a big, and the last trimester, the third one, when it comes out all big. Sometimes even men, there are some men that say, wow, how did it happen? How do you feel? Your body's stretching to that point, you like a whole lot of things. What really happens when a woman is pregnant?
Okay. Thank you very much. During pregnancy, there's a physiological change. The body undergoes physiological changes.
Okay, when you say physiological,
that is functional changes
Okay.
to certain organs of the body, vital organs of the body, and also probably anatomical or structural. That is the physical appearance that you see the woman appearing all changed up, maybe darkened and all that.
Oh yeah.
So for the physiologic, the vital organs, the heart tends to pump more blood because the vessels tend to dilate, trying to
Okay.
accommodate the growing uterus and the baby growing in there, because the baby will be supplied nutrients from the mother through the blood passing through the placenta. So as the uterus enlarges, the body tends to adapt such a way to accommodate the blood flow, blood supply down to the placenta. So there is a what we call, it tends to have dilutional anemia. That is, the red cells tend to be less than the plasma, that is the liquid part of the blood. So you see women tend to be a lot dizzy, tend to be easily tired.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
understand? You say, I'm always very tired.
Feeling
Feeling
fainty.
fainty, yes. As the pregnancy progresses, they tend to have tell you they have waist pain, they have back pain, they urinate frequently, all because of the enlarging uterus.
Okay.
Pressing on the
Bladder.
nerves, the bladder, the nerves, the sacral nerve plexus and all that. They tend to have numbness. All that are just because of the growing uterus compressing on certain nerves around the sacral region, and then they tend to have this darkened complexion kind of because of the melanocyte changes as well.
Okay.
You see women that used to be a lot fairer tend to be darkened.
Okay, there are ones that just glow during pregnancy.
Those are, yes, there's
But
an
they are
exception.
rare
Yeah, there's
anyway,
exception to that though. But most times you see them all darkened up, and then
especially
obviously,
at the third trimester.
yes, obviously the uterus, you see a swollen, enlarged, and that tend to cause the stretching of the muscles, the abdominal muscles afterwards. And then you see some women after delivering, they tell you, oh, my stomach does not want to go back, So those are the changes, some of the changes we often see during pregnancy, as well as the breasts, the breasts become bigger to accommodate lactation that's going to come on after delivery. So those are the changes that we see.
Okay, now, yeah, we've addressed the changes. Let's talk about self-care after childbirth now, so we have enough time to, explain better.
Okay.
What happens after a woman puts to bed? I know you've talked about, enlarged abdomen and the rest. Okay. When something comes out, okay, for example, you pick up a sachet of water,
Yes.
and you decide to stretch it. So when you empty it, you still see the stretchy part.
Yes, it's even if I want to better illustrate, like a rubber band,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a rubber band having stretched for a long time. Obviously, leaving it will return, but it definitely is not going to go back to its shape again. Yeah, it's going to be a lot wider than it used to be.
So what are those things a woman should expect? Oh, immediately the baby comes out and she's
yes,
being stitched up, whether via CS
or
or
vaginal delivery.
yeah. So what should she expect?
Oh, obviously, the first is that the uterus begin to return gradually back to its normal pre-pregnancy states.
Okay.
That's one, and it takes maximum of 6 weeks to completely not be felt per abdomen. That is, you will not feel it on palpation. On touching the
Yeah.
abdomen, you're not going to feel it. That's the uterus has completely returned back to becoming a pelvic organ, so you cannot palpate. That's per abdomen. That is within 6 weeks, and then you find out the woman would be obviously having this bloody discharge we call lochia, and after a while the color changes from the red to the pinkish, and then subsequently to the serous type that is looking like all whitish kind of, and then obviously stops. Yes, and then lactation becomes established gradually as the baby is sucks. Lactation starts, and as lactation starts, it also helps in the contracting the uterus back to its normal state.
Okay, so that's the point where you hear, oh, as you're breastfeeding, it's becoming painful, and they say keep doing it. It helps the
Yes,
uterus go back.
yes, because of the milk let down ejection
Okay.
reflex that tends to release oxytocin that causes the contraction of the uterus. So, by and large, that's the first immediate change you see after delivery. Those you tend to see the abdomen that has been all grown up and large tend to return back to its state.
Okay, now, in order not to mix things, I know that there are mothers who delivered through vaginal delivery, and there
Yeah.
are mothers. My doctor says, don't say it's abnormal, don't say it's normal, no, but none is
No,
normal.
yes, yes, it's true.
So, yes, and there are some that deliver via cesarean section.
Section,
So,
yes.
let's first of all address those ones,
The,
that
the vaginal delivery,
yes,
yeah.
so let's tell them how to take care of themselves before we. I know taking care of, those mothers that deliver through cesarean section might be a bit, maybe slightly different from the way the mothers that, put to birth via vaginal delivery should. So let's address theirs first.
Okay. After delivery, for those that have spontaneous vertex delivery, that is vaginal delivery, like you said, one of the ways or the ways in which they can take care of themselves are one, you have to good hygiene,
Okay.
make sure you bathe, make sure you change the pad the pad regularly, observe the color, because if the red color tends to be longer than it used to be,
So how
or it
many?
should be, it
How
should,
do you know it's longer? How do
yes,
you know it's
yes,
shorter?
the red,
Maximum of.
the red should be maximum of 4 to 7 days,
Okay.
and then it now tends to become pinkish. The pinkish shouldn't last up to a week, probably within another 5 days. Then probably starts reducing to the serosa, and then within 2 to 3 weeks max,
Everything should
everything
stop.
should, yeah, it should not be having that again.
Okay.
And so regular vulva pad inspection, you beat when you beat, you clean up yourself. Some persons tend to want to massage the abdomen, then they will tend to use hot water to, but it has not been shown to be of any proven
Effective.
benefit actually,
Okay.
because physiologically the body will return to its normal shape. And then after 6 weeks, we advise maybe some form of exercise, aerobic exercise, just
Okay.
to make sure the muscle become tense a little bit to go back to its shape, because at some point it becomes flabby. So those little aerobic exercises like the sit-ups and all that, that's for those that have vaginal delivery, and we tend to advise that to have this muscle, the muscle becoming a lot more tense and to return back to its shape. And then they should rest. Actually, rest is also important. Pregnancy is a stressful period, and so after delivery, you should have helpers. You should have people that should be there to help. Not when you just deliver, you are the one still going ahead to cook, go to the kitchen to wash. No, you should have time to rest. There should be people
So what
around.
about those women who don't have time to
No,
rest?
that's why we are. That's
They
why
have
we're.
help.
That's why we're educating them, because
Okay.
they are. They are.
I think the men should be the ones who are being educated.
Yes, yes. If that's yours, like you mentioned, is this program is not all about the females. The men should also
Yeah,
tune
I
into.
think antenatal should be made. I'm sorry, we're not deviating. I think antenatal should be made to be compulsory, even if it's not every time. They say, oh, at this trimester, once in or twice, let the husbands be there.
No, but please, there's some women that come with their husbands during the
And that's
antenatal.
because the husbands opt to. But if they make it compulsory,
You,
I think the husbands will find time to be there,
okay,
or join virtually.
that's on a lighter note, though. But it's actually good because they tend to be educated more on what the woman is passing through, the signs, the complaints she probably might have said in the house, and he is becoming worried. He tends to know more about it when he comes, follows her to the antenatal clinic. For yeah, so it's actually a good stuff. A good stuff actually. So like I said, the help. These women should rest.
Okay.
Regularly, they should have a blood pressure check. For those of them that probably, even if the pregnancy was uneventful, because you could have a pregnancy that was uneventful, and then postpartum, after delivery, suddenly you hear a woman, the woman convulsed. So she started having headache, started having abdominal pain. Those are signs of what we call postpartum preeclampsia. And if care is not taken, you see the woman convulsing. They say some patients will want to link it up with the spiritual aspect. So you want to make sure that this woman's vital signs, even after she has been discharged, she wants to at least regularly have a vital signs check, maybe twice a week. If the pregnancy in quotes was uneventful and prior to discharge home there was no issue, no blood pressure issue, she should at home still find a way to have her blood pressure checked at least twice in a week.
Okay.
That would also make her be sure that she's not at risk of having preeclampsia postpartum. And also the psychological aspect is one thing that most women shy away from, because it's postpartum. Most women tend to come down with postpartum depression.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to, but I just preserved because frequently asked questions, and then even planning for this program.
Yeah.
Yes, I had lots of questions. Women raised lots of questions. Some of them may not be able to join us, but they had so many questions already. Yes, and then they are hoping to get the answers. What happens? Why do we have postpartum depression? It happens a lot in women. Low self-esteem. All of a sudden, feeling you're not fit enough. You're no longer, shouldn't be counted among again, and all of those things. But before we get there, we're going to address that. Let's talk about the main issue now. So, okay, oftentimes we hear, "Oh, sit on hot water."
Yes. That to me has not been shown to be of any proven benefit. Okay. In fact, if at all, it's even complicates a delivery that had an episiotomy given a tear. That is, if the woman had a tear, it complicates that, because by the time that tear has been repaired, and then you now go sitting on hot water, it tends to loosen the stitches, and then you see the wound all gaped out, becoming infected afterwards with complications, sepsis and all that, if care is not taken. So usually we don't advise that.
Okay. Are we done with the other delivery now?
Yes, for the vaginal delivery, that's practically that's it. Because
so at what point do they tie their tummy? Yes, even in the hospital you hear tie your tummy.
Do you actually hear that? We don't advocate that too, actually.
Okay.
We don't advocate that.
But I've heard a doctor say tie your tummy.
Why you're tying the tummy is, like I said, because of the lax abdominal muscle.
Okay.
Now, if after 6 weeks, instead of tying, why don't you do the sit-ups and all that? But for the women that can't do the sit-ups and all that after, yes, the tying of the stomach comes
I'm
into
saying,
play.
okay, yeah. When we get to the CS part, we'll ask that question.
Okay, but practically speaking, even if you say it over and over, women will still tie their tummy. But to me, there is no proven benefit.
Okay. Okay, let me just take this time to remind the people again that this is the program Inside Motherhood, and today we're talking about self-care after childbirth. What are those things you should do after putting to birth, after having a child, whether it's your first, your second, or third? Come to think of it, doctor, having your first child, having your second child, having a third, are there differences, or is your body just going to be like it was when you had your first and second, or as it
No,
goes?
as pregnant as you keep having your baby, your body keep changing and find it more difficult to return back to the shape it were
Okay,
before the first pregnancy.
okay.
So you have to put in lots of effort
Efforts.
to get it back.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry, women, you've got a lot of work to do. Okay, so this is the program Inside Motherhood, and here we are with Dr. Ekomobon Odo, a senior resident doctor of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, and we are talking about the things you need to know and the things you need to do immediately after putting to birth, and of course, subsequently, so you can have your body back in shape. If you have questions, up or a text message. So now let's talk about those women who had, their babies through cesarean section.
Okay, before we go to that, let me just quickly add, we are not, I didn't mention nutrition. Good nutrition is also essential. This woman
Okay.
should eat well because she has to replenish,
Okay, what she
yes,
lost.
what she lost, the blood cells,
Mm,
she has to replenish her body. So good nutrition, a balanced diet, more of the fruits, the vegetables, complete balance diet just to replenish, especially the iron aspect of it because of the blood loss,
okay.
obviously, because most times that's what leads to anemia. Some women they've not even replenished, and then the next thing they're already pregnant again.
Oh,
You're sure
yeah.
they're already going into the next pregnancy with a deficit of blood. So
What
that
does
tends
that
to
cause?
it
What
tends
what
to cause
what are the
anemia.
risks?
There's
Oh,
anemia
okay.
in the pregnancy that the
Okay.
next pregnancy they tend to have at risk of having anemia in pregnancy
Okay.
because they've not probably built up their hemoglobin level up to the point where they are now ready. It's optimized for them to start yes,
Discharge
to
for
be
their children and so
yes,
on.
yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, so
So
back
for
to the other
the
one.
for those that had cesarean section, yes, like we all know, cesarean section involve is a surgery delivering the baby per abdomen through various layers up to the uterus, and then afterwards you repair layer by layer closure. And so with that, these women tend to probably stay longer in the hospital because you want to make sure that
They're
there's
fine.
yes the wound has there's
And the
adequate
bowel
yes there's
sounds.
adequate wound healing. The bowel sounds have returned for
Okay.
them to commence oral sips and start taking orally, and then afterwards you want to make sure that they can ambulate properly.
Oh, what
There's
when is
ambulate meaning they
ambulate?
can move around,
Okay.
because most times the pain. So you're sure that even with that with that surgery, they can be able to move around, at least go ease themselves, come back. So afterwards, you want to check that their blood level are optimized, that their pack cell volume is optimized before they're discharged. Now, once they are discharged, we tend to want to give them a shorter appointment to actually maybe 2 weeks appointment for them to check back where you can now check the wound site and confirm that there's no obvious discharge. And what we tend to advise is they should keep that wound area clean and dry or at all times, because when it is not clean and dry, when it is moist, it tends to be a medium for
Bacteria.
microorganisms, bacteria to want to grow and culture. And so having said that, once they finish bathing, use cotton wool to dab around,
Okay.
then allow it to air dry.
Okay.
Spirit, cotton wool is soaked with spirit
Okay.
to dab around and then allow it to air dry. That's like a way of an aseptic method of
Okay.
yes. And then for them, we will not advocate these strenuous activities immediately because of obviously you don't want to cause a tear or a wound breakdown from the surgery. So all others, like I mentioned, the regular vulvar pad inspection, you want to also check through twice a week and blood pressure check to make sure that she's fine before she goes back for a follow-up postnatal visits, and then adequate bed rests or rests. That's when we talk about the need for assistance. She has to at least have people to take care of her. Her husband has to come in there, take good care of her. That's the time where men have to at least go to the kitchen, prepare meals for your wife, wash the clothes if there are no helpers.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, for them, at what point or do they start pouring water on their body like bathing
Yeah,
now?
they can. The whole essence is, even if you bathe, you try to make sure after bathing,
Okay,
you
cleaned.
cleaned up that area dry.
But within the first 3 days, when is it safe to start, doing
You,
the full bath?
yes, that's at that point they are still in the hospital. If I would say that at the point where they are discharged, they are, then we are comfortable allowing them to go, knowing that the wound is healing properly or has healed properly. So at that point they can bathe. All we advise is make sure after bathing
You
that
clean
area,
and
yes,
dab.
you clean and dab, make sure with spirit and make sure it's dried at all times, and then that will make the wound to heal properly. And then you take your medications, the antibiotics that have been given, prescribed to you, the vitamin C's and the other hematinics to help build up. Those are also essential for the wound to heal properly. And then you make sure that the appointment that has been given to you, you follow it up. You come see the doctor at the next appointment that has been given. Like I said, overall, one of the issues that we should be discussing about this self-care is the postpartum blues and depression, because it's common. It's very, very common, postpartum.
Okay, so that's now we can go to that part because
We have touched this part, simple things, you feel, oh, it's easy to know, but you find out that so many women do not know. And talking about tying of tummy, sitting on hot water and the rest, yes. I've heard it in the hospital where a doctor says, oh, when you get back home, tie your tummy. Okay, so it's like, oh
Yeah,
wow. and
it's
and and the lady says she just had CS, so the doctor says, oh, to, like you said, the flappy pads, to put it back in at least for a while. So I needed to also address that part.
But now let's talk about the most common part that looks like it's overlooked, but it's happening every day. It can even lead to death. A woman sits down, you don't know what she's going through in her mind, you feel she's fine, and then sometimes if you're not close enough to, allow her let it out to tell you how she feels, and then you would not understand this is what the woman is going through and just pretending to smile, especially first time mothers. Sometimes you find them after having a child already tired of the marriage, and then you ask questions.
They tend to feel differently from.
When they never had a child, like what is postpartum depression and what leads to it?
okay. It starts with let me use the word postpartum blues. Blues, feeling, when we say postpartum blues, feeling like you are no longer yourself, feeling like your body has become
Lost
damaged.
value.
Yes, have lost value because of your pregnancy.
That's the low
Yes, you
self-esteem
have this
comes in.
low self-esteem. You're feeling like you're no longer a
You
woman
don't look you
enough. You
don't
don't
look
look as
attractive again.
attractive again, especially um considering the pregnancy period, how maybe turbulent it had been. You tend to want to regret. Some women now say, I wish I knew I wouldn't have gotten pregnant. And what are the causes? Most times we find out that the causes are unknown. They are unknown. And but some persons want to link it to a family history and probably hormonal changes. But overall, we've not really had pinpoint exactly say, okay, this is
The reason.
here's a reason, but it is very, very common, especially like you said, for first time mothers. And if care is not taken, it tends to lead to the depression, the postpartum depression that we're talking about. That depression, they tend to start having suicidal tendencies, start thinking of hurting their babies or their baby, thinking of so many negative thoughts, low self-esteem, not feeling loved by their husband again. And you find a woman call to herself engulfed in her thoughts and imaginations, and that's when she actually needs the companion that we're talking about. She needs her husband to be there for her. She needs, because if her husband is there, he can easily quickly identify when it's starting and helps her to regain that. And when he sees that it's deteriorating and he will need a medical attention, that's when he can probably now bring her to the hospital.
Okay, now when he brings her to the hospital, how does the doctors come in?
Yeah, we come in trying to having evaluated, asking, taking a good history, evaluating her. The psychotherapy comes into play.
Okay.
We try to manage her using the psychotherapy model, try to psych her up, tell her that no, the pregnancy was no fault of ours. It's actually a good thing to be pregnant and to give birth. We try to make her believe in herself again that yes, it's a thing of joy. What most mothers, what most people wish to have, and then you're having it on probably a platter without even stressing yourself. Something you should be happy about. This baby will bring you joy. You try to psych her up again, make her feel, yes, feel loved, actually, especially by the husband. You try to make sure the husband is always there. Because it's something you have to talk to both couple, so that the husband will be there to listen to you as well, so that even when they go home, he tries to pay more attention to the wife, taking care, making her feel like a queen. That's when you go to the house, the wife should just relax.
Oh,
Yes,
and be taken care of.
yes, and be taken care of, be pampered actually.
Okay, so we have a reaction from Abigail. She says, "Good afternoon, doctor. Thank you so much for the information. I want to know the kind of food to be eaten during lactating period for adequate breast milk." I know some people say, take palm wine. So we have a question from our
Okay.
viewer.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of the kind of food to be taken. The food rich in iron, food rich in iron, like the seafoods, the the meats, the what do you call it? The non-red meats, that is the chicken, aside,
Fish,
yes, fish products, yes, eggs,
snail.
snail, and then lots of vegetable food. That's when you have, instead of using the normal stew, you can have vegetable sauce for your rice, vegetable sauce for your plantain. Try to eat food that is more rich in iron containing food to help build up. And then people still talk about that palm wine. Yes, let me be silent. Let me be
Is the look
silent
on
on
your
that.
face
Let me
for
be
me?
silent on that.
Okay, so this is just a reminder. We have less than 10 minutes to go. If you have a reaction, you have a question, a contribution, feel free. The phone number is displayed on your TV screen. Send us a WhatsApp message, a text message, or you can put a call across to us. Now, whatever you need to know as a mother who has just had a child, or a father who has just had a baby. Of course, your wife having a baby means you have a baby as well. So feel free to ask questions. Feel free to send your contributions as well.
We are talking about self-care after childbirth.
What are those things you need to do after you've had a child?
Yes. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to put yourself back in shape. There are women who just naturally go back to their normal shape, even after having like 4 children. I don't know how it happens. And there are women who just take a whole lot of time. And then there are women who never go back there at all. I have had
Somebody, okay, around me. I think I'm gonna ask, what happens? What causes extra long protruded tummy when a woman is pregnant? Like, I've seen a woman who has a baby, and if she comes out, it looks like the stomach is gonna fall to the ground, and then you're scared, and then you're expecting like 3 plates because it's obviously not gonna be tween. It's too big to be tween. Come on, it's gonna be three, and then she has just one tiny baby.
Yes, the uterus, just like the abdominal muscle, actually becomes lax as well. So at each pregnancy, the uterus becomes bigger than the previous
This one, I'm
pregnancy.
telling you, could be is the first pregnancy.
Wow. Okay.
And so the second came and it was bigger than the first, like you
Yeah.
said,
Yes.
right? So now, what happened is,
Even after having the first baby, she took in after the first baby was a year plus. But
you could still look like all through those while she was pregnant, was still looking like she was pregnant. So even after having this one, some people see her and say, "Oh, I saw Mrs. A. She's already pregnant." And then you see her, you knowing her that she's not. You just know that she's not pregnant. It's just the tummy. That's how it is. So it has come to stay.
Yes, that's why why I mentioned the exercise.
Okay, sit ups
Yes,
and all
yes, the
that.
sit-ups, the skipping, and all that. It helps. And then the interpregnancy interval is also an important aspect.
So
That's where the
you
family planning comes
okay.
into play. You have to give the body time to go back to its normal shape before planning the next pregnancy. That's why you don't just meet a maximum. We usually give a 15 to 18 months interval.
Okay.
That is approximately 2 years. That's once you deliver your first baby. From that delivery till the next time you're expected to deliver again should be at least 2 years.
Okay. I thought you were supposed to take in when the other baby is 2 years.
No, no. As at when the first is about to be 2 years, we expect the second one to be delivered.
Oh
So
wow.
that's yes. So that's the optimal interval.
Okay.
The entrepreneur we usually say 12 to 18 months. 12 to 18 months before you take in again from your last childbirth to when you take in again, so that by the time you are delivering it gets to that 2 years I'm talking about. That gives your body ample time to go back, regain its shape based on the exercise, the nutrition, the rest, the adequate nutrition you've taken, the rest and the exercise. So but there are some women actually, like you said, irrespective of that, because of how their body is already built and their how will I put it, especially it doesn't always work for them like that. No matter how they exercise, no matter how the shape there will still be a difference from their pre-pregnancy states.
Okay, so we have just 5 minutes before we
round off the show now. This one is coming from a man. Okay,
Okay.
so just
um they don't
didn't reveal their identity, but just
just frequently ask
questions.
and while discussing this program, reaching out to other people, the comments, we get these questions. So um does pregnancy, maybe childbirth, have anything to do with a woman having a body odor? Now, um based on discussion, or people feel that, oh, because they didn't properly take care of themselves, so it ended up with the woman having a body, or does it have any relationship to do?
No, but if you like I said, there's this melanocyte stimulating hormone that is involved during the pregnancy and all that. That's tend to have the darkening of the
Yes.
skin and all that. And so for women that they don't have the good skin care, they don't take care of themselves well, over time they will tend to have
Okay.
this body odor. But for those that
Take care of
take,
themselves.
yes, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have
Then
that.
one last one, still coming from the comments we had. Um, how do you get yourself, like,
As a woman, how do they get their self back? I know it could take some time to get your normal skin color back, but
the tummy tends to be so dark. In fact, sometimes it could be so scary, and the tummy is totally black.
how does everything come back to normal? And the darkness or the dark skin that a woman gets, especially at the third trimester, what happens?
How do you get that to vanish?
6 weeks postpartum, it is expected that all those
Signs should
should
go
have gone
on its
out
own.
on its own, especially the darkening skin and the
Stomach, yeah.
yes, the striae gravidarum and the linea nigra that you see on the stomach. Those should
Okay,
just
so
go on
the,
its
the,
own.
the linear nigra just goes on its own.
Yes. But some, because of the stretching of the muscles, like I said, you tend to, the abdomen will not be as tense as it used to be, becomes lax.
Okay.
So, but with the exercise, like I said, it goes back. But those appearances, they tend to go back. They tend to
Okay,
go
I'm
back.
sorry. I don't know.
No, but then I'm just speaking from
Experience.
Not today's experience. You see, when a woman is pregnant and the tummy enlarges, and then you have it's itchy, yeah, and then you scratch it, you
Yes.
have stretch marks coming
Yes.
out. What happens? I know that sometimes they say, "Oh, don't scratch." So if you don't scratch, you're able to cope. When the tummy goes back, it doesn't appear. But for women who scratch, it remains even when the tummy, you're done putting the birth, and then the stretch mark remains.
Yes. 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 You have a point there. But most for most women, the stretch marks they don't usually scratch, but for some it does because of the excessive elaboration of the hormones, the hormone, like I said, that is involved in those the striatum gravidarum and the linea nigra. Now for those women, if for the itching, if it's much, there are medications we give
Okay, calm
to,
it down.
yes, to calm it down, to prevent them from
What even brings the
scratching.
linen Naira? I'm sorry. This one looks like there's no answer to it. All right, okay. So this is where we close the curtains for today. Trust me, I had a lot to learn on this program, and I hope you too had a lot to learn. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Doctor.
very much, Rachel, for having me.
Okay,
Thank you.
so well, it's been a good time here with you. We've been having talking to Dr. Ekomobong Udo. He's a senior resident doctor, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, and University of Rio Teaching Hospital. And today, he has educated us on the things we need to know, the things we need to do, even when we're pregnant, and of course after we put to birth, how to take care of ourselves, where to come in, where to help, how to end postpartum depression, and a whole lot. So I hope you learned something today. And to Abigail, I hope your question has next Saturday. I'm always so excited to talk to you on Saturdays. Yeah, this is Motherhood Corner inside Motherhood, and it's always fun to hang out with mothers here on this program, and fathers as well, because I know you are watching and you have a lot to take home as well. Thank you so much. This is where we close the curtains for today, but don't forget to follow us on social media. You can check our handle out. You can find us on spectrumtv.ng, and you can follow us on Twitter at spectrumtonline. My name is Rachel David White. Good afternoon.